My name is Manford Kroening. I am 66 years old. I was born in 1953 in Hatting an der Ruhr, which is the middle of Germany, in a coal mining district, a really industrial area of Germany. And I was born there. I came in 1975. Yeah, and I flew, it was a really long flight. I flew from here to Seattle. That's was my entry point in Seattle. I was like really nervous. I had like a pimple outbreak in my face. I was like really nervous about this. And when I arrived, they looked at me, the custom agents that looked at me and looked at my passport and whatever, and I had only like asked me how much money I have. And then they put a stamp in my passport, only sufficient money for 3 months. So they gave me, a 3-month visa. In particular, when I first came in '75, it was Berkeley. It was like something I've never experienced, anything like that. I had very long hair. I was like a hippie kind of a guy. Mm-hmm. And, it's very restricted and it's very conservative in Germany in a way. And here in Berkeley, it's like policemen had long hair, beards, and they're very extremely relaxed, like really a hippie time when I arrived here, and People's Park demonstrations. And it was just a wonderful place. So I worked at the YMCA on Bancroft Avenue as a dishwasher. There was this restaurant called Equinox run by this woman, and she gave me a job, and I was a dishwasher there, and it was the best job I ever had. I mean, I was the only guy. I was like 24 or 35 or something like that. There were all these women, and there was like I was like having this heavy German accent, it was a different, great environment for me. They thought I was cute and stuff, and so I met a lot of people. And so then I was asked that there was a New Year's Eve party, whether there's anything I'm doing, don't you want to come? And I went there, and that's where I met Bette. And so she was the only one really who spent a lot of time. I didn't really know a lot of people at that party, and my English was really not that good. And with these parties in general, people said all the time, "How are you?" And then they walk away. This is when I just want to start telling them how I am, Yeah. And very superficial, the whole thing, Or they would have 5 minutes and then start talking to me, but then it gets really difficult, to talk to someone that doesn't really speak English well. You have to speak slowly and, and focus and, and try to understand what this person trying to say, and that wears off quickly when there is a New Year's Eve party and they were drinking and having a good time. So I felt like I was really lonely there in this whole place a lot, not much to talk to, just like staring at people. But Bette showed some interest. And so we danced and we had a good time, whatever, and then she got my phone number, and that was it. And so then a couple of days later, she called me up and said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I was, practicing English, I said, "Do I have a drink or something?" I said, "Yeah," and she came and picked me up. She came and picked me up, and then we went to a bar where they had drinks and stuff like that, and that's how I got to know her. I was here for 2 years, and I found everything really superficial. I really missed my friends. So I said to Bette that I have to go home. I don't know how long, but I just have to go home. And and I said, "Okay, you can come eventually, but I have to go home, and I have to find an apartment, I have to find a job. But if I have found all of that, you can come and visit me too, right, to stay there." And so that's what actually happened. So I went home, found an apartment, got a job, and then Bette rented out her place to some couple women who took care of her cat. And then she came over, maybe something that took like maybe 3 months or something like that, and then she came over and stayed with me and got to know my family and all of that stuff. At that particular time, you see, I had already acquired a green card. I was like a registered alien, right? A green card kind of a person. So when you have that, you cannot stay out of the country longer than 1 year. So you have to come back and get a stamp that you were here, then you can leave again, because why do you want to live in America if you don't want to be here? So they make you come back here every year. So my year was up, and so I decided, actually, I really wanted to come back, not only because of the green card. I felt like I went through a whole winter, a dirty, cold, snowy, winter in Hamburg, and things were also not the same anymore than when I left 2 years ago. You know, you live kind of in the past all the time. Your friends, your family, and everybody. You come back after 2 years, suddenly everything's different. You know, the friends have moved away. You know, your family. You know, my sisters, and you know what I mean. They moved to different places. It was just not the same anymore. You know, I had to drive to visit them all, and so it felt like, you know, not as good as I thought it would be. You know, and so I decided, you know, to move back here. That was like a big decision. That was that period, and then I just kind of worked, and Bette also worked, you know, as a social worker. She was in for child abuse in Oakland Children's Hospital, whatever. And anyway, and her dream was always, you know, she liked to cook, whatever, and a lot. Her dream was always like, you know, have a restaurant or something, whatever. And she came to a point where she just wanted to change her career, and I said I would help her. Then we decided, you know, that we want to do a breakfast and lunch place kind of a thing. And Bette came from New Jersey, and she grew up in diners. You know, grew up, you know, at the counter having milkshakes and whatever. I don't know that culture because it's an American culture. And so then what was the concept? The concept was, you know what I mean, maybe we should make a diner. A diner's for everybody. You know, all generation, you know, and it has a counter. We love the counter kind of an idea. People can mingle. And so then we opened up with like 3 people. It was Bette, me, and someone else that we had, and then just opened the door one day. We did not know anything. We had no idea what we were doing. It's zero. You had to wait forever for your eggs, because we had this idea how we wanted to make these eggs and these omelets, and because she was like really into French cooking a lot, Bette, you know, and wanted to have certain egg dishes, but it really didn't work that well. Yeah, of working with her, I mean, it was intense, but fun. I mean, I would say I had only really good experience. I mean, we had our, you know, arguments, whatever, but it was really separated a lot, you know. I mean, but my job was different, maintenance and service and stuff, and then her job was the food and all of that. And so when we work here, you know, we really don't talk. You know, we get at home and then we talk about problems, you know, employee problems, finding a cook, and stuff like that, you know. But we didn't irritate each other at work. It was completely separate, you know. And it was a big support, because sometimes, you know, it's great to hear, you have the ball, you run with it now. I had it, you know. And so since Bette died a couple of years ago, whatever, it's all like, oh, my shoulders, and I have to deal with everything, you know, that. So I cannot get away from it, you know. I mean, it's like, yeah, really difficult. But, you know, it's difficult to give it up in some way, because it has been, you know, 36 years of my life, and it's a really, really very successful place. And when I'm here, you know, there's a lot of energy. I know so many people. It's really part of my life, and so and I couldn't, you know, and it's part of it. But I did not really. I had to get this older where I'm right now, is that I actually added something to the community. So there's a whole sense of responsibility, not only for my employees that I have here, but there is this community deal here. That people are used to it, they're coming all the time, they're coming here for 30 years, and you know, it's part of their lives, and I just cannot just close or change that. That changes all their lives. You know, I get that feeling from them. You can't just sell, or you things they say that to me, you know, you can't just close, you know. So there is that feeling of having responsibility even to the community that I never thought I would actually.